Tonight on ABC7 at 9, the story you have to see.
That morning came and it was the worst morning of my life. And ever since then, every day has been a nightmare. Today we got some little bit of closure, just knowing that he's not out in the streets anymore.
Late-breaking details tonight on a man convicted of manslaughter. The jury just giving him a punishment, and the victims' families are speaking out.
It's just painful. It's very painful, especially when you see the family trying to back him up to school instead of him learning a lesson and owning it. I think it makes it more painful.
It is an emotional story tonight. You need to hear this again. It's taken 6 years for this to come to a head. A reminder why you should never drink and drive. And you are also shouting out about this. These viewers, Rosie saying that's it regarding the punishment. And other viewers are saying, wow, this sucks. And another viewer, Jose, saying sad. We have big story coverage coming up first at 9. Iris and in Storm Track weather.
We are talking about the next few days. Some changes coming ahead. We'll talk more about that in your Thanksgiving Thursday. All that coming up.
ABC7 at 9 starts right now.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland, this is ABC7 at 9 on the El Paso Las Cruces CW.
Good evening, everybody. Let's get to our top story coverage after we get a sneak peek at our weather forecast. Iris, you are tracking some chilly temps tonight. It's not terribly cold, but it's a little chilly.
That is right. It is pretty cold. You might need your jacket if you're going to be heading outside. Here's a look at what your late night planner looks like. 50s all the way up until 11 o'clock. Then we're going to see those upper 40s once we get to your midnight hours with clear skies throughout your evening. We're going to talk more about the next few days, Thanksgiving Thursday, and what's in store for the weekend. All that coming up. Bob?
Thanks, Iris. It is a Thanksgiving week that several families in the borderland would rather be very different. I tell you that. Our top story tonight, more proof that drinking and driving rips families apart. And the story was nearly 6 years in the making. Just a few hours ago in downtown El Paso, a jury sentenced Arturo Vasquez to 5 years in prison and ordered him to pay a $10,000 fine. Back on Friday, the same jury found him guilty of manslaughter and aggravated assault for the deaths of 2 women inside a car he crashed into back in 2011. Vasquez was facing up to 20 years in prison. Killed in this crash were Evelyn Rose and Jeanette Lazaro. They'd been out celebrating Evelyn's 21st birthday when their friend Gabriela Delgado reportedly ran a stop sign in East El Paso and crashed into Vasquez. But court records state both drivers had been under the influence, and Vasquez was a repeat DWI offender. Tonight, ABC7 was in the courtroom just a little while ago when that sentence was handed down. Evelyn Rose's mother shared her emotions with us.
The jury deliberated. They found him guilty. It's not a question of whether or not it was fair. They took all of the evidence and they went through it carefully, and they came to the conclusion that he was guilty. No one else picked him to be guilty except for a jury of his peers, which are El Paso taxpayers, and that's what they decided.
Vasquez was charged with DWI after the deadly crash. At the time, police told ABC7 that was his second DWI charge. Relatives told the jury Vasquez had matured and showed remorse over the crash over the past 6 years, including having significant problems sleeping at night. Relatives also told the jury Vasquez is a good father to his children, and taking him away from them would be very difficult. But Evelyn's mother, who you just heard from, saying he should be taken away from his children so he could sit there alone and miss them like she misses her daughter.
A parent is not supposed to bury their child. It's not supposed to be that way. And when someone does take a life, they're supposed to take responsibility for it. And the anxiety and frustration from having someone like him not take responsibility for his actions, it takes a toll on you.
Also during today's sentencing phase, ABC7 spoke with a family friend of Jeanette Lazaro. Now, she described how hard it's been dealing with this for 6 long years.
It's just brought everything out again. She can't forgive. It looks like it was yesterday. It looks like it just happened. And then her having to relive every single moment of this has been very, very hard on her and on Albert, her brother.
And also tonight, ABC7 reporter Stephanie Guardian, she was in the courtroom And she also spoke with a survivor of the wreck who was in the car with the girls.
I have dreaded seeing him. I've dreaded this day to face him, and I needed him to know that because he's lived with no remorse for us. He has wanted to plead not guilty.
By the way, in the wreck, again, El Paso police saying the driver of the car that the girls were in, Gabriela Delgado, she is still awaiting trial. We will, of course, keep you updated there. But as far as Vasquez goes, you have a lot to say on Facebook as well. Let's get to some of your comments tonight. This is really getting heated on our Facebook page. Demora saying, this is a family member, by the way, saying no matter what the outcome, our families are serving life and will never get what was taken from us. All I can ask is you keep us in your prayers and to always have a designated driver. Mark saying 5 years for taking 2 lives, ridiculous. No excuse for driving drunk. He had a previous conviction and obviously did not learn. Ricky saying, that's what a jury of our peers feels taking 2 lives is worth? Terrible. Mike, wow, so I can kill 2 people and only get 5 years in El Paso. And we have another comment tonight, this from Paula saying, well, at least he's going to do some time. That's more than most get, or he must get, but it's still a slap in the face to the victims and their families. And finally, this is from Ricky. He will do 2 years at most, and the fine goes to the state, not the victims. What do you have to say about this tonight, folks? We know a lot of you are passionate about this story, and definitely our hearts go out to everyone involved. So let us know what you have to say about this on the ABC7 Facebook page tonight.